Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today, again, we are with Ridiculon. Hello.
Thank you. Man, it's so nice to be back with you again here. 3 years, 4 years later, whatever it's been, you still look great, man.
Thank you very much. Yeah, my name is Ali, and today we're joined by John and Matthew. I chose to say John and Matthew because it's more musical instead of Matthew and John. You know what I mean? And yeah, so yeah, exactly.
Just keep the Matthew calling, because my name actually is Matthias, but you do have a history of calling me Matthew. So just keep calling.
I am really sorry. Yeah. And yeah, so Isaac Rebirth is now 10 years old. How do you feel about that?
Well, like maybe 10 years older.
And we're all 10 years older.
Yeah.
Wiser.
Yeah, I mean, yes. During that, well, we've been thinking a lot about Isaac in those 10 years. I mean, granted, you know, the last major sort of sequel, whatever you want to call it, was 2021. That's probably when we talked to you last, right? So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of fun stuff in store for the 10th anniversary, including something that we're working on today that we don't really want to talk to you about. Yeah, there's all kinds of fun stuff to celebrate this game, which, I don't know, exceeded everyone's wildest expectations in terms of its popularity and enduring influence, you know? So how lucky are we to be friends with Ed and to be trusted by him and to have, I guess, written some iconic music for a game that people continue to play and stream to this day, you know?
I wish that Ed would give us some artwork that would be a rendering of what Isaac would look like if he actually aged.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
right.
Like a 16-year-old.
Yeah, what would 16-year-old Isaac look like?
He'd probably have little bits of
fuzz.
stubble here and there, and a lot of tattoos. Yeah, good.
Like a hoodie.
Yeah.
Hoodie.
Yeah.
Just like feeling really socially awkward
Yeah.
and feeble.
I think he should get on that.
Yeah.
He definitely would look really edgy, you know what I mean?
Oh, you think? Yeah, I bet he would.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kid has seen a lot. He's battled a lot. I think he's, you know, maybe he's come out the other side a more complete human being, right? Because however old he is, like in the game, what is he, 7, 8?
Yeah.
To be
Something
confronting, like I mean,
yeah.
you're gonna maybe he's running for president or something.
I hope so.
At least class president.
He'd probably be very, very pale. You know, a life in the basement.
Oh,
Yeah.
so pissed.
Never seen the sun.
Yeah.
You know, hollow bones.
Hollow bones. Yeah, you wonder what his diet is like. Like, oof.
Yeah.
A lot of carbs.
A lot of leftovers.
A lot of leftovers.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I mean,
Everybody's nice about the-
it's really cool that you guys working on something for the 10th anniversary, because it felt like I was the only one who was really, you know, very careful about the Isaac's 10th anniversary, because I was there, you know, even way back in Flash Isaac. And let's go to the second question. Are there any regrets when it comes to the processes of composing for the game through its 4 stages? As in, were there any songs that were outright unusable in the game, but you were content with it?
Well, everything you hear in the game is in the game and used. I mean, John and I have a huge folder of duds and B-sides things that were rejected by Ed that you will never hear. No, we actually dug in and released a few that are still really cool.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I mean, there's tons of stuff that didn't work out that Ed hated, and Ed's very direct.
Yeah.
You know,
in
The point is, there are no regrets, though. You know, you just sometimes. Our motto is strong and wrong.
Yes, exactly.
So you just have to we just go for it, and if Ed or someone else doesn't like a particular song, it doesn't mean we don't still like it. It has value.
Yeah, exactly.
You cannot look in the past. Always forward.
It's true. It's true. Yeah, I mean, if you want to get more analytical about it, you can definitely hear our growth as composers for this specific game in the 4, Rebirth, Afterbirth Plus, and Repentance. By the time we get to Repentance, so clearly had an idea of the world of Isaac, and it's definitely our strongest work. But I still, I love a lot of the original soundtrack. It's so fun to go back to 2014 and to hear some of those classics that that are still impacting things today.
Yeah. I mean, I've told you before the last time we talked. No matter how great the music of Afterbirth Plus and Repentance, my favorite song will still be Sketches of Pain. I'm gonna say that again.
All right.
Yeah.
Wait, is that like a bonus track or something? Was that actually on the Sketches of Pain? Was that? I wonder.
It's the blue baby floor. The chest.
Oh yeah, Sketches of Pain. Let's hear. Let's refresh our memory. Good title too, because John and I are, we're jazz folks, so that was a really fun Miles Davis.
You should skip to the middle when the melody starts. That's the real meat of the song, in my opinion.
Sketches of Pain.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I haven't listened to this in a long time.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Is there a melody? Oh.
Right.
Oh yeah. It's like a Lord of the Rings kind of like Hobbit orc march or something.
Yeah.
The Fires of Mordor. Oh, a classic, man. Listen, everyone has their favorite.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a darkie.
Yep.
Let's go to the other question, number 3. Since the 2011-2021 Isaac era is finished, are you happy with the music you crafted to convey the multiple stages of the story, and especially the final true ending with Repentance?
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah.
Repentance is our magnum opus, man,
Yes.
as it relates to Isaac.
Yes.
It is. Everything came together. It's really strong from end to end, and my favorite part is, we kind of treated it like a film score, right? We took a lot of themes from Rebirth and Afterbirth Plus and brought them back and reharmonized and changed the tempo and the meter and did some cool mashups and medleys and you're talking about the final boss, the Horsemen of the Apocalypse. Like, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's the true ending. Yeah, the final true ending.
What is
Dogma? And the Beast.
Yeah, the Beast. That one's really fun, right? Because you can hear that the same bass layer of drums is in every single track, and it was our duty to sort of reharmonize and come up with a unique sound world for each of the horsemen or the bosses that come. It's pretty cool. Yeah. And it was really fun that we at least the album mix version is 8 minutes long of just going through one time.
It's the longest song. Yeah.
It's very like Peter Gunn or something. My favorite.
Okay. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, it's a good drop film.
Yeah. That one is really fun. And Ed was really particular about that. the fact that it would, you basically, and I like the way that the game visually opens up at that point. The screen widens and you're like tracking and you guys coming, and the fact that we have to seamlessly sort of transition from one to the other and have each boss, mini boss, whatever it is, have their own sonic world is kind of fun. Anyway, I love that one. Great.
Yeah, I mean, for me, if it comes to Repentance, it's the Mausoleum. Come on.
The Mausoleum.
Yeah. Whenever I see like a video on YouTube and the guy goes to Mausoleum, or me playing and goes to Mausoleum, I just start shaking my head and coming with this one. It's really good. What else can I say?
Yeah. This one's very like White Snake or something.
Oh, yeah.
This has like MTV vibe.
It really does,
Yeah, like, the video would definitely have Stephanie Seymour, a bunch of candles.
Yeah. And
maybe
guys like
that. Yeah. Maybe a couple of like 80s muscle cars, slow motion, like maybe drifting near a church in a graveyard. They didn't drift.
No, but they could do donuts. Doing donuts.
Like cars
slow motion.
Yeah,
donuts.
cars weren't set up to drift. Yeah, I love this song.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yep, that was like Coverdale would definitely be singing on that one.
Sing on that one.
Yeah. Oh, good, Mausoleum.
Don't mind us.
Sorry, good commentary.
The other question. Fans, as far as I'm aware, are also lovers of Danny B's score of Last Isaac. What were the reasons that you guys shifted to more of a rock-based music style for Rebirth? Was it Ed's idea or yours? Because the contrast between Flash Isaac and Rebirth is too drastic. It creates the Division vibes. Like the games are of the same story and visual themes, but when it comes to music, it's really different. Was this Ed's idea?
Well, I mean, Ed knows us. We're not electronic musicians. Nothing we do is in the box, and everything we make is play our instruments. And I play live drums, and keyboards, and John plays bass and guitar, and we use that's what we've done. We played in bands and toured and made live music, and like he would have asked someone else to write the music had he wanted to continue to go down that very traditional, more electronic beat-driven sort of game music sound. It's just not what we do.
And we also had started working on a game before Isaac that was all very, very organic. And so I think without putting words into Ed's head, he was definitely liking the way things were feeling with the real instruments kind of being the bulk of the recordings.
Yeah. I mean, we've certainly experimented with loops and, samples, synthesizers, more dramatic kind of, but we always use those at the end after we've written something that ebbs and flows like a real band, like a real piece of music, like rock music, I mean, that's sort of where we come from. So, Ed was a big fan of my band, and that's how we met. And so why not sort of find a way to make a band sound serve a video game soundtrack, as opposed to us trying to pretend to be someone that we're not. I love Danny B. I mean, he wrote some iconic music, but that's just not who we are, you know?
The other question. Let's forget about Isaac for the moment. Since Repentance, everyone is waiting for Mewgenics. How's that going for you all so far, and what are you allowed or able to tell us about the game or the music?
Sure. Well, I mean, Ed has his development blog on Steam, and he's teased a lot of the music and a lot of the level design, and you can see that it's going to be really wacky and highly complex. In terms of the music, we're pretty much at the finish line. We're waiting for them to catch up to us. Ed is really generous in that he trusts us at this point. So we tend to just write a bunch of music. He'll give us a very basic construct for the level, for the boss, or what. He'd be like, write something. maybe it'll inspire us to catch up. I mean, we're really lucky in that way that often in games you already have visuals, character design, level design, and things for you to take inspiration from. And in this way, he just kind of let us run and basically have fun and write music. And I think it's going to be very interesting for fans of us. I think John and I have been labeled as like the metal guys, right? But truly, we're actually jazz musicians. And the way that Ed, you know, like big band music and like Dixieland and weird like R&B and soul and like Latin music, and it's going to be shocking for people to be like, that's those guys.
Right. And there's vocals.
And there's on everything too. There's a lot of singing.
Okay, that's something new.
A lot.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah, there's going to be it's a wild ride, you know. There's like little nods to Grand Theft Auto. There's a whole radio station where I play a DJ to everyone. There's songs we've written specifically for that. Like I said, we're pretty much 98% of the way there with the music. So we're letting them catch up, and hopefully in the new year, Ed and a small group of people will start sending it out to friends and family to test the game. And I don't know actually when it's going to be out. I hope in 2025.
Yeah,
it's it's ambitious, and Ed is not succumbing to the pressure, and he's going to release it when it's ready. It's a very small team that is just pouring their heart and soul into it, and I love seeing how they've just let inspiration sort of take over, and they're like, oh wait, this piece of music or this little visual inspired this. Well, clearly we have to go all the way down this road and you know, add this new element to the game. So it's crazy. It's so huge. It's a massive game. So that's next. That's when, you know, I mean, beyond all of the 10th anniversary celebrations of Isaac and all of the little nuggets and treats and special things that are going to come out with that musically. That's the next you'll hear from us pretty much, is when this game comes out. It's going to be special.
Yeah, we're all looking forward for that. I mean, Mewgenics had been in development before Isaac Rebirth was a thing, yeah?
Exactly. It was it's been in development since Ed and Tommy Reffinis were business partners still. And completely concept and style to the game. Obviously they went their separate ways, and Ed decided to pick the project up again with a new development team, a new art team, and new programmers and all this stuff, and totally change the look of it, you know, the mechanics of it. It's now like, I don't know, it's a turn-based strategy game, right? You know, so it's like it's a very different thing. So yeah, we've been working on this. This is the first thing that John and I basically did together, first real game project. We started in 2011, so 13 years ago.
Yeah, that's a long time ago. Yeah. Okay. The voices. Your voice was the narrator, Matthias, who turned out to be the father. Great plot twist. Have you considered voice acting in any other indie game or a show?
Yeah, of course. If someone would call me, I'd work at all. It's something I've done. Just like, hey, people in Kuwait, you guys need me to do voiceovers, or you just, yeah. I mean, of course, that's the dream. Really fun for me. It's another side of my personality that I don't tap into as much as I'd like to. So yeah, it's fun. Ed really made it a family affair. My wife voiced the mom. Both my kids were the sound of Isaac. One aged out, and then was, by my younger kid. And it's fun.
Yeah, I mean, I heard that. Yeah, the family were in the voice acting department. I mean, it's fun.
Yes, for sure. Anyway, if anyone on Adult Swim or the Cartoon Network is listening to
man.
your show, they can call me anytime. I'll happily voice any characters.
They only need to hear the intro or the final ending. And that's gonna be
Right.
yeah, that's a selling point. Let's go to another question. Would you make your own game? Your video game?
Would we make?
Yeah.
What would it even be if John and I had a concept, like shingling the game?
Like composing and making the game.
Ah,
Gosh, I can't imagine that thought. Ever had that thought?
what would I? Yeah, like what would this?
Probably be a driving game.
Definitely be a driving game, like like shitbox jalopies, you know, like
Smashed Up Derby.
Smash Up Derby games, or like a
Or
rallying
that
game.
would be kind of cool, a rally game, but it would be cool to have a Smash Up Derby game where you had to build your car, and and there are different things you could do to like fill the fenders with concrete, upgrade the motor,
Yeah.
reposition the radiator, all that stuff you need to do, and then
Yep.
get out there and battle it. You know.
Yeah.
Why isn't there a Smash Up Derby game? There should be.
Yeah, maybe.
All right, if it comes out and they heard it here,
Yeah,
this is where you heard it first.
that's our idea.
Smash Up
Okay.
Derby. Music for that too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think so.
I'm into it.
Yeah,
That'd be really
totally.
good.
Yeah, or rallying, like a rallying game, but also in a shitty car that doesn't really work. So you're constantly breaking down, and you have to like an inventory of like, oh, I gotta take this drain pipe and put it on as the exhaust.
Right,
And use coat hangers and
Yeah,
duct
duct
tape.
tape. Yeah, duct tape the tires.
Yeah. Yeah.
There are a lot of things. We're into the homemade stuff.
Oh
It would
yeah.
have to be a homemade. Yeah.
I mean, I asked because there's another developer who's Bobby Fox, the guy behind Undertale. He composed for the game. He wrote the story. He programmed, and he did half of the art. This guy is a madman.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, John, boy, if we just like set off and did that today, it would be the worst game ever.
Oh my god.
Like I don't. There is so much about game development that we don't understand. We definitely operate outside of the day to day in terms of the development. You know, it's like no clue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that, Isaac Rebirth, All the Way to Repentance, it's obviously your magnum opus, these 10 years of music. Do you think that he will surpass that in the future with Mewgenics, or maybe Isaac too?
Absolutely. Yes. I think the music that we've written for Mewgenics is the greatest soundtrack for a video game of all time. I do. It's so different than Isaac, but I feel like in terms of our personalities and it's much closer to our actual, like, who we are as musicians.
Jazz.
For sure.
Yeah, it's got everything in it. Yeah, it's like it's a little more improvisatory, right? There's a little more playing. It's
Improvisatory?
I think it is. Improvisatory. That's a
It's
word.
not improvisation. It's not
I think improvisatory.
I think it's improvisational, but I get what you mean.
There's a lot more dangerous music, even though it's maybe a little more lighthearted in its presentation. It's a little more. There's more interplay and improvisation and just kind of interaction and just adventurous harmony
and a lot of melodies.
A lot of
hard
melodies. Yeah, more melody, exactly. Like I think our metal work for Isaac and other things is a little more like rhythm sectioned and riff driven, less melodic, and maybe more ambient in the case of some of the dark and secret rooms in Isaac and things like that. But Mewgenics is really catchy, really melodic, really kitschy and retro, and people are going to love it. I think it's going to take them by surprise that the people that they know as the metal guys are actually this.
Yeah. You know, it's one of the best things when a musician or composer presents a project that sounds very different, and I'm for that. Good luck.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, no, it's the best stuff we've written, and I think we'll take the world by storm. We hope.
2025, good.
Yeah, coming up.
Right.
Another question: when did you two meet? Was it a gig, a video game? When?
We met in California. We were neighbors in California, and just before I moved back here to Massachusetts coast, we started hanging out. And John had always been considering a move back to the East Coast. We're both basically from the same town, and a year after he followed suit. So we weren't playing together, but we had a lot of mutual friends in common. And
we did that voiceover at the studio. That's
right.
Was really the first day.
That's right. The first ever, the Flash Isaac, where Danny was still doing the music, but I was actually still doing the narration. That was the first thing that John and I worked on. I recorded at his recording studio in California.
So you were the narrator of Flash Isaac. I didn't know that.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I was. Yeah, that's actually Ed ever called me for. Was Flash Isaac narration.
And then the rest is history, obviously, with Rebirth.
That's his history. You said it, not me.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now, this is a very important question, I guess, for me. Physical music, CDs, vinyls, when?
Oh, stay tuned, bro.
Oh!
Our lips are sealed.
Okay.
No news whatsoever there about physical releases, but boy, cool if it came out someday in some glorious comprehensive package. I really hope someone gets that together at some point.
Yeah.
That's all.
Okay, that's enough for me. Thank you.
Yeah.
Do you know? Have you grown up with any video games that inspired you with Isaac's music, or was it just your musical background as musicians?
Background. No, I mean, I'm not a gamer by any means. In fact, I grew up without a television. You know,
man.
my kids are gamers for sure, and it's fun to see them play that we have participated in. My son is an insane gamer. But no, I mean, John and I are not gamers by any stretch of the imagination. I think that's why it's worked out so well, because we don't feel the weight of history on us when we're composing for a game, you know?
We don't have any template necessarily for what it's supposed to sound like.
Yeah. And when Ed is tasking us with a new soundtrack or whatever, he doesn't reference video games. He references music. He references music that we love together, that we have in common. Other people we work for in games often will reference a game.
Yeah, reference a game.
You know, in which case then we familiarize ourselves with that. But in terms of Ed, I think it's been so successful because it's grounded in recorded music and albums and
just non-video game music.
Yeah.
It makes sense, yeah. Because Isaac's music isn't like, there's rarely any game that has the style of, you know, Isaac's music, I guess.
Yeah. Yep. Welcome to the mind.
Yay.
There's a question similar to the CD and vinyl thing. Would you make a concert that is based on Isaac and the other games you made?
That would be really fun to put a band together to play like an hour-long set of the hits from Isaac. I about that forever. I mean, certainly we have enough people in our life who would make that possible. It's just how and where to do that. It would be really fun.
It would be.
It would have to be in the play or something like that.
Yeah.
That would be fun because you know, all the bosses, Tyrone and Ed, they're all out on the West Coast, and so it would. The answer is, of course, yes. Maybe we do it in Santa Cruz so Ed could be there because he doesn't really like to leave.
Yeah.
We could play at the the catalyst, or what is even down there anymore? Anyway, yes. The answer is yes. Someday we'll do that.
I mean, I hope you release it as an album. I don't think I can travel all the way to the US. You know, it's very far.
Kuwait is far.
Yeah,
I get it.
You're 7 hours behind me, and if it's in the West Coast, it's almost 12 hours behind me. Yep.
Yeah, it's true. 3 hours behind us, so yeah, 10 hours or whatever that is. Yeah.
What advice you'd give for video game composers? Because this whole thing is about music and music making and portraying the fun in games audibly. What advice you'd give? This will be important to me, especially since I am a composer and I've composed a lot of mini video games in the past 5 years.
Well, I guess that's a very open-ended question. I mean, what advice would you give for people to get scoring opportunities, or if you're already scoring?
I mean,
or is it a musical question? This question. Again,
musical and what?
Is it a musical question or a business question?
No, it's the musical and ritual question. Leave the business behind. It's the art that I'm talking about.
Yeah. So I would say that learn to communicate with your designer as well as humanly possible. Make sure that there should be a lot of talking and making sure that you're on the same page with their descriptive terms of what they want first, and then listen to as much music as possible in that genre, so that you're not stuck sounding like one other person. You know, listen to a broad range of music in those styles, so that you can find your own voice within that style that you're writing for.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I don't know. At a certain point, right, you move past your influences and you just become yourself, right? Yeah. Like I fully remember, in your 20s, you're still searching for who you are, right? Playing as many gigs as you can and developing your own voice. But then, 20 years in or whatever, it's just like, well, at this point, you are who you are.
Yeah.
And if you're only listening to a small amount of music, unless you happen to be, Mozart and be a genius, what you're going to write is probably going to sound a lot like those few influences that you're listening to. But if you can broaden that out into all kinds of music and listen to classical music and listen to jazz music and listen to singer-songwriters and electronic musicians and listen to all of them, then you just have a much deeper well to draw from.
Yeah, I can totally agree, because I fell into that trap when I was like 18 and 19, 2016 until 2019. I was only listening to one guy, and I grew so comfortable with his music, and any piece of song I made sounded exactly like his. So it was really difficult to listen to another person, like another musician. And then suddenly in COVID, I just, spread my musical, taste. And then suddenly it's like Mike Oldfield and this rock band. And now you should congratulate me, because right now I am discovering Miles Davis and I'm trying to learn the trumpet. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I was in the Netherlands 1 year ago, and I bought a CD that I only got to listen to it, 2 weeks ago. It was Bitches Brew, and it kind of changed my life. And it's like, yeah, and like I have my mouthpiece with me, and I'm constantly trying to mimic the, and with the microphone, it's so wacky. But yeah, I agree. You have to listen to music as much as you can, broaden your musical library.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's excellent that you're falling in love with Miles, because Sketches of Pain is literally
Sketches of Spain. Yeah.
on of Spain. So
Yeah.
that was fun when we were. Oh, yeah.
There's also
Jazz.
John Coltrane that I'm discovering his music.
Sure.
Sheets of Sound.
Yeah.
Mm. I mean,
That was his landscape.
What else do I have? Oh, with you, like, are there any plans for a studio album that is not related to any video game or anything, any project? A studio album, you know?
Yeah, interesting. Well, John and I have collaborated with different artists and fans in the past. We made a record with David Scatliff, aka Scattle, also a video game composer, like 5 years ago, called Ritlin, Rittlin. We are on the very slow train making a record with this guy Sinvicta, who's a streamer, an Isaac streamer. Like today, we're messing around, just some stuff that's not tethered to any particular project. But in terms of, I mean, we'll do that, but usually it's only a single or something like that. We've never actually made a record of instrumental music that is not actually assigned to a project.
Yeah. Most of our composing it's driven by a need or
it's got a destination already. It's been we've been hired more or less to do it.
You wouldn't believe the next question. It's literally, what is your relationship with Sinvicta? Because I am a fan of him.
Oh, well.
He
is a fan. I've been on his show a bunch of times, like interviews and hanging out and talking while he streams. He and his friend Mark, they live in Houston, Texas, and some years ago they reached out and like, hey, let's make a record together. We went hard at it for a bit, and then it's kind of on the back burner for now, but it is something that we will pick up at some point. He's very generous with his time and giving us shout outs and things like that, and
he does all the time. Like whenever your voice appears in the game, he says, "Thank you, Matthias." Then he keeps playing. If you know that, I was asking. Go on.
Yeah, he's a good. I've never met him in person. Someday I will. But he loves our music and goes out of his way to shout out our music. So I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, there's also the other thing that with Sinvicta that really it took me time to believe is I started watching him in 2020, and then when I learned that he makes metal music, and the guy's voice is really fun, very calm, but have you heard him singing? It's like a completely different man when it comes to heavy metal.
Sing.
Yeah, again?
You say his singing voice, like when he sings, like music?
Yeah, like just heavy metal, and it's.
Oh, I didn't. Never heard his voice. I actually
check it out.
We've only been making instrumental with him so far, so maybe we'll have to sing on something.
Yeah, if you heard his voice, you will be shocked because it's a completely different type of voice. His name is the World of Lauder. If you could.
Right. Yeah. I do know the World of Lauder. I guess I didn't know that he actually sang. I thought he only made instrumental music. All right, there you go.
Yeah. I am out of questions now, so I guess we hit the time mark.
All right, Ali. Great to catch up with you again, man. And I will do my best to get you in touch with other team members to try and get the full picture of Isaac.
10 years of Isaac. That would be really helpful. I mean, I know Ed is a very busy guy, even though he replies on Twitter all the time. But I know he's a really serious game developer. And I have an older history with Ed because I was less than 10 when I played one of his games. So he's really familiar to me when it comes to video games. But yeah.
Awesome. All right, man. Well, great to catch up with you again. And stay tuned for some exciting musical announcements around the 10th anniversary. Right?
Thank you.
No spoilers.
Thank you.
All right, man.